Chương trình PhoBolsaTV chúng tôi sẽ tiếp xúc với một vị khác trong ban lãnh đạo của công ty. First, can you tell us again about your name and your position in the company?
My name is Kevin Moore. I'm the Director of Operations for Vietnam Waste Solutions.
How long have you been working in this facility?
5 years.
Before working here, can you tell us your background and your involvement with the waste industry?
All right. I started in the waste industry in 1988 working for Waste Management Incorporated. I spent 11 years with them. And then I became a close consultant to another waste company, a worldwide waste company. And that work was conducted in 2000 to 2006 in Hong Kong and China. And now I'm here.
How do you know David and how he bring you here to work in Vietnam now?
David knew I was working through his associates and through his fellow engineers. He found out I was working in Asia, and he originally contacted me about doing some project management and specializing in landfill gas. However, we met. We developed in a relationship, and he saw that I would be best suited to conduct the construction management, see to the startup of this facility, and then ultimately operate it. And we've been together ever since.
After 5 years, are you planning to stay long here to work for this company and live in Vietnam for a long time, or is it going to be a temporary work for you?
Well, I look at everything as temporary and look at everything as permanent. Okay, I love working. I love working for David. All right. We have a great relationship, a working relationship. I'm used to working with corporations. He is a sole and owner and developer. He's somewhat of a Hollywood story. It also makes him somewhat of a character. So my engagements with him are great. They're great from a personal development standpoint, and he's entrusted me with a grave responsibility. While he spends some time in USA, and to have me here running his operation with his reputation on the line, that goes to a lot to how we've been able to develop this relationship and develop this project. So my plans are to stay, but again, you never know. My plans are definitely to stay, not only with Vietnam Waste Solutions, but in Vietnam.
Okay, after 5 years living and working here, what can you tell about Vietnamese, the people, the country, and the worker?
The country as a whole is great. It looks like the moves that they're making are on the positive side. I've seen some more freedoms. Since in the 5 years that I've been here, I've seen more freedoms. I've had a chance to get personal with some Vietnamese people here outside of the company. And I like it. I think there's improvements in a lot of areas, such as education and such. I mentioned that in terms of how difficult it's find and to train people here, which is one of my bigger challenges. But I see it going forward, and it's improving all the time. The second part of your question was?
The people?
The people? The people are great. Again, I didn't come from California. I had the luxury of doing this job in a lot of other places. I have actually been in the waste industry in France, England, China, Hong Kong, Philippines, Thailand. So coming here was not much of an adjustment. And most of the adjustments I've had to make were all easy ones and positive ones. Food, the climate, it's agreeable to me.
What about the worker? You've been of course, have a lot of chance to work with the Vietnamese worker. What is the good and not good quality you see in the worker?
Well, from a worker standpoint, generally they work hard. My challenge has been changing certain methods or habits. I preach a lot about our safety record here, which is really phenomenal. It's phenomenal if I was doing this in the United States. But sometimes in some fields of work or some labor work efforts, they were more comfortable not even wearing shoes, and I require shoes. They were uncomfortable with wearing safety glasses, but I required that. Gloves, they couldn't handle things. So it's introducing those types of things was actually more challenging than some of the other technical ones. But but it's fun. Our training is over and over on some of the same things. Even though somebody's been here for 5 years, they've seen back prevention training 5 times now. They've seen heat stress training 5 times, or mosquito or dengue fever, and we drum it into their heads what we want to accomplish here.
Can you tell us which country you've been working before, and then comparing to Vietnam, is there any difficulty in terms of dealing with the government?
Well,
first tell us like where you.
Yeah. Well, I'll say I've worked in. Well, I've worked, in USA, primarily in California, and I spent time in England, and spent time in Nice, France, and the majority of the other times were in Hong Kong and all throughout China, and then looking at managing projects and developing projects in this local area. Oddly enough, I didn't really venture into Vietnam while I was working in Hong Kong and China, and now we have this time here. As comparing it to other ones, I think schedule is one of your biggest challenges here. Sometimes, many times, the schedule that you've projected is based on something you might have accomplished in a previous country. I think you need to extend that schedule here. Things do take a little longer here, and it's usually, well, at least in our experience, it's because we're doing something unique. We're not building the same row house over and over again. In terms of personnel, I want to go back to the personnel issue. I find that the women are by far the most qualified workers here. They definitely work harder. Our women head up our liner, or what we call our fusion and pipe technicians crew. If we had the opportunity to make operators out of them, we would. I feel the women workforce is one of the strongest assets that Vietnam has.
What about in terms of difficulty when dealing with the government?
In terms of the government, no. Again, I don't deal on a political level, but I do deal with environmental issues and project planning issues. I find that dealing with them and face-to-face and being able to discuss matters with them, I don't see many problems. I think some of the difficulties is for some, or for other outsiders, would be to weed their way through all the various regulations and all the various circulars and memorandums on what you can do and what you can't do. There's no clear roadmap to getting something done. So a lot of what you have to get done takes presentation, takes conversation. That's one of the things. Things are a little more subjective as opposed to objective here. Nothing wrong with that. We've been blessed. We've had good responses on our engagements with the government.
Can you give us a message to the people, the Vietnamese people overseas, especially to the people who have a lot of doubt about investing and doing business in Vietnam?
Well, investments these days, worldwide, it's a risk. And I'm certainly not the one to ask about financial investment. As far as what happens here, I can't speak for other facilities. I can speak for what David has done here. If somebody was to invest and support David, financially in the beginning, I think they'd be a happy customer right now, or a happy partner. And the things that David's going to do, they're going to be great things. And is there opportunity there? Yes. I can't speak for others. Do I think the investment climate in Vietnam is ripe? Is it rich? Yes. I have intimate knowledge of investment practices in China. And the great thing about here is you're able to do and spend your wares here and get your return. What happens so often in many other, not just China, but other areas is you can do it, but you're only going to do it for a limited amount of time. A few years, get your money and get out. Usually your neighbor is going to copy you and duplicate you and beat you. I think this 50-year contract is a perfect example of somebody being able to not just come, invest, continue to invest, reinvest, operate, and get a return on that. In 50 years, yeah, that's a long time to get a return on your dollar.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.